figuring out like, okay, so I had like mental issues. How can I help myself with that?
Yeah.
And then my family were like super traditional Asian parents saying that no, you're not sick, girl. This is just an illusion. You don't need to take the meds. You don't need any like medications or treatments. So I was like counting on myself to heal.
This is Andrian.
And this is Ray. Welcome to the Talk Live podcast.
Every 2 weeks, we'll invite a new guest and
In every session, we'll dig into the life, relationships, and perspectives.
one question at a time.
Let's talk live!
Yay.
Welcome to the Talk Live podcast. This is your host Ray, and today we are very fortunate to have Gianne Chan on our. I think she's our 21st guest. Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Yeah. So thanks very much, Gianne. I think it's early in the morning on a lovely Sunday. Thanks for the coffee. It's gonna be a very nice casual session. So yeah, just bear with us and enjoy the ride. And maybe let me set the stage a bit, so that it's easier for our audience to listen and why we have Gianne Chan on the show, right? So I think I think Gianne Chan, she is essentially an entrepreneur. Like how I would think of Gianne Chan, she's a jack of all trades. Meaning, and why jack of all trades? Because she's not in just one business. Like Come and Close One, which you will share how you start. We will deep dive into the journey of that. But you also start a lot of different things on the side. YouTube, you had a full-time job, you have another business, media. So we want you to cover all that and really give an idea on slasher life, right? Because I think in today, millennials find it very sexy to we want to retire early, we want to be financial independent, we don't want the 9 to 7 jobs, and then they end up like quitting their jobs and then realizing that, oh my god, it's not as easy as what they thought. So yeah, I'll leave my introduction as there. Yeah, maybe you can do a brief introduction of yourself, what do you do, and then we can see how we pick things up from there.
Yeah, so I'm very excited I'm here. I wouldn't like introduce myself as an entrepreneur because it's still really very new to me, but I would say yes to a lot of people. I am doing quite a lot of things, like different things. I have 2 companies that I'm managing. I have a YouTube channel. I have 2 different podcast shows, but I would say it seems like I have a very tight and busy schedule, but everything that I do kind of like links back to what I imagine myself that I would be when I was younger. Like when I was younger, I was always like thinking about, if people could look at me on the TV, that would be great, because I wanted people to look at me. So and then I started the YouTube channel because I wanted more attention, kind of like an attention seeker, I would say, when I was younger.
Okay.
And then I stopped. I didn't like go back to that dream. I stopped because when I like hear people talking things about me on the internet, like the Hong Kong culture, when you get on the forums. I'm not sure if you know them.
Yep.
Yeah, those.
連登,
yeah.
高登, those kind
And
of.
then I just panicked. Like I wasn't used to those kind of voices, especially when the group is really huge. And then I just panicked and I stopped. And then I started to find another passion that I think, I'm interested in. I don't only wanted to show what I'm doing in my life. I wanted to do something for myself first, like starting a company. And then I'm going to go back to the audience and tell them, okay, so this is different. I'm not only like the influencer profile that you see like years back then, because I kind of like, I think I wasn't being very genuine with myself and my profile. Like when I heard, like when we were starting this podcast, Ray, you shared like, oh, you just grew like a bunch of followers in weeks. I was like, oh, that is something that I admire, because my base of followers were growing since I was in 10 years ago in secondary school. Like when I was in a girls' school, everyone is talking about the gossips, rumors, and I was with girls before.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of people looking at my profile when I was younger. And I didn't like grow the base because, I was an influencer or something. They were looking at me since when I was 16, 17, growing up with me like throughout the past 10 years. And at the very, very beginning, when I wasn't even an entrepreneur. I was only
Already,
I was only like promoting so many different brands, like taking like different shampoos, promoting this shampoo this week, and then a few days later you see me holding another shampoo saying that, oh, this brand is really good. Yeah, I was that kind of influencer, very, very fake. I only post because people pay me to do it. And then for I think a year I feel like, okay, this is not good. Like the likes are getting lower.
Yep.
People weren't even commenting anymore. Like even my own friends, they don't know what I'm doing. Like Gianne, why are you promoting so many different brands? So I was kind of like lost in the middle when I was like trying to build up my profile. I didn't know like what was like genuine, like what is
Okay,
like
yep.
genuine content, what is sharing your insecurities, something
Yep.
like that. I don't know anything about it. I just wanted to build my
An audience.
profile,
Okay, profile. Okay.
and it doesn't work. So
Okay.
in the middle, I just stopped. I quit the influencer world. I just say no to all the companies that reach out to me and ask, Gianne, can I pay you to post this? No, I don't post anymore. I just post whenever I feel very comfortable with the content, and that is something that I really like agree on.
Yeah.
Because you know, like if you're an influencer, people send you the caption. They ask you, Ray, okay, this is the product, this is the description that we recommend you to post.
Okay.
And basically they write everything for you. So you don't even have to post anything on your own. And I
So
don't like doing that.
it really loses the authenticity
Yeah.
and your own personal thoughts into, you just copy and paste, and then people use you
Yeah.
as they basically like treat you like the other truck and then just run you over
I'm
to
like
get
a
you,
tool. Yeah,
to get you
exactly.
to another place, right? Yeah.
And I kind of like despite myself, like I despise that me, like, oh, Gianne would do that for money because she I don't know, she needed it, so she posted 9 grid, and out of 9 maybe 6 of them are ads.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, thanks very much, Gianne, for sharing this perspective,
Yeah.
right? Because of course, I don't have a lot of different product sponsors reaching out to me. There are some, but I never really engage them. But I think I come from a different perspective that, you know, I really want to, like what you say, like, okay, I didn't have to go through that process of thinking, oh, I really want to, you know, use this influencer build profile to earn money. I didn't have that mindset, and that's why I was like very, very picky from the beginning.
It's good.
I started with 0 followers, right? I told you, like, I created this whole new page and yeah,
New
but
persona.
I think exactly, yeah, new persona called Malai Zai. But I think enough. I think I just want to, you know, touch on the point, because I think you're actually like quite reflective then as a
Yeah.
person. Like, to be honest, I think a lot of people, millennials, if the profile growing, it's just very normal. Just nine posts, out of them like 8, 7 or 6, depending on who pays, and then they just push, right? But I think that's also in some ways not wrong, because in some ways that's also like a way of living. It's like the slasher life, right? If they have
Yeah.
something else to do. But I think like in this world there's so many different ways, like we're talking about, to live or like build your own profile, right? Yeah, so yeah, really admire that. Okay, you grew your YouTube following like more than to 5,000 plus subscribers, and then Instagram you also had a following, yeah. And I think growing up you already had so much attention, so I was like, wow. Yeah, it's good to hear your perspective that and how you actually evolve. So it also shows like your maturity level on really seeking what you really want to push out there. And I really like the idea that credibility is something that you want to build.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people tend to just sort of be a different persona. And why should people follow? And if you want to build an audience, you should first focus on your niche, your credibility. I mean, all these sounds simple. But when you actually start, like I think for you, Gianne, is because I think you're like pretty, and I don't want to like just, you know, think of and generalize or have stereotypes, right? But in social media, people are really two-dimensional.
Yeah.
They don't really see who you are. They see what you post, how much skin you do. So I think from girls, like I think you guys might have an easier, I wouldn't say it's easy because it's tough. I think if you're a girl and then you start posting a lot of different skin stuff, you might not get following because it's super saturated. But I think my point is like, okay, it might be easy and stuff, and then you might go to that trajectory, and a lot of people will continue. But I think it's good that, you know, you always dig down inside, like, hey, what do you want to do? And it's also interesting that you wanted to, like, someone attention seeking, and also wanted to be a TV producer in the beginning. So I think I sort of resonate with that a bit. So I had like I didn't share this to my audience before, but I think when I was young, like one of the job ambitions that I had was to be a TV host. And I was inspired by Ellen DeGeneres, which right now she just finished her last show, right? So she was really a legend. I really like her vibes, the way she hosted different things, and she really just grew her following and just became one of the most successful TV hosts. So from that, I'm like, I want to be a TV host. And I think that was when I was 13 or 14 years old. But dreams stay as dreams if you don't work on it.
Yeah.
But hey, I was proud that I acted on my YouTube channel when I was 15. I was in that Taylor Swift kind of era, love story, doing parodies on YouTube. Yeah, so I did double into that. And but I realized that, when you get busy with your studies, like society's expectations start to catch up. And then I was in the mindset that, hey, I need to focus on my studies, get to a good high school in Singapore. After that, go to a good university, get a good job, find a girlfriend in university, etc. So all these society stuff caught up. But I'm glad that I'm, sort of retouching and re-engaging. And that's why we have you, Gianne, here on the podcast. We have a platform now, Talkla, to, reach out and meet different people. Yeah. So that was like a long way to summarize. But can you briefly describe, so that was more on your public profile, right?
Yeah.
And your thought process on how you want to build a credibility. And one of the ways was to build your own brand.
Yeah.
So segmenting into that, right? Like, you started Come and Co. Can you just briefly walk through what are the different businesses or initiatives that you're in right now so that our audience know, and then I think we can deep dive into one of them.
Yeah. So right now I own Come and Co. It's a health and wellness company. Last year we're mainly focusing on CBD products, but then due to the government ban, now we're launching vitamin patches, supplement topical patches. And that is what I do for like the retail health and wellness industry. And I also do services. So I co-founded Lexi Media Creative company with my friend. Basically 3 months ago we set up a company. And then now we have a team of 8 girls. We're running the service business, mainly doing like social media management, which I love doing because I've been like playing on Instagram like for 10 years basically. So, and then we do like business strategy. Basically last year I built Come and Co with my own expertise on sales, on BD, and then now I'm helping other small young businesses, startups to also pivot or basically give them strategies on how they can like go to the next step of their business. So Lexi Media, it's kind of like putting like Come and Co into practice and earning money from that. So new and interesting because I've only like full-time doing my own company since 3 months ago. So January I quit the full-time and really
Congrats on that.
really only like a few months ago.
So that was Jan 2022. That's when you decided to go all in into your different sub-brands.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's really, really smart. Like using, and I really like the idea that, okay, you sort of have built a successful brand in the wellness space, Come and Co. Yeah. Actually, I don't think my first touch base was through Come and Co. It was one of your podcasts.
Yeah.
And that's why it leads to the point that it's very important to build a profile in whatever, because you get different kind of customers, different kind of touch points, you meet different kind of people, or you broaden yourself or get exposed in a certain community if you're in that medium, whether it's TikTok or whatever, right? But that's a lot, right? You only have like time is scarce and your energy is scarce, your focus is scarce, so you have to pick, right? And I think through your whole experience in Come and Co, I really like that you're reaping the fruits of that in the Lexis Media, and I don't wow, that's pretty innovative, like kind of business model. And but I think I think we'll touch into the different things, but I think let's stick with Come and Co first, right?
Yeah.
So Come and Co, like, it's a wellness. You started off CBD, you pivoted to wellness, and you pivot into supplements, vitamins, and stuff. But how did that all come into play? Because from let's see how we can relate, like your journey, right? Because you seems like you wanted to be in TV and stuff, right? So like a personality, online personality. And then that triggered you like, hey, you need more credibility. So how do you link that, wanting to build a credibility to wellness, Come and Co? Yeah, what's the inspiration behind that? Yeah.
I think when I founded the brand, I didn't actually imagine myself like being an entrepreneur. I just wanted to start something on my own, like my own side project. I never like visualize, oh, it will turn into like a legit company and I would start selling. Like not that thought.
Okay.
I just only wanted to start creating things that I like. So I was helping my previous company, like previous boss, with his posts, with his promo cards, because he's in an education company. And I was like, okay, I know how to use Canva now. Why
yeah.
not create something on my own? Like I like pink, I don't like the company color.
Yeah.
And I started like playing with the designs. And I was like, okay, if I come up with some kind of like brand that I like, would there actually be like people supporting my brand and my products? Because I did started a very, very small business when I was in high school. I started selling like felt phone cases, like crafts. I can show you the pictures later. So I started selling when I was really young, probably because my father is a merchant and he also did business. And kind of like I was inspired by, okay, you can make money on your own. So, and then of course I didn't continue like with the crafts thing, but Camden Co was like, okay, I really like these vibes, like these pink calm color, and I was thinking about the product. And then at that time I was dealing with like depression and anxiety, like super bad mental state.
Can you give a time frame, like what age were you then? Like
On and off, I think the first time I figured it was 2015, like when I was still in high school, about to take the Hong Kong public exam.
DSE or A level? DSE, right?
DSE,
You're DSE
yeah.
era. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in between. If I'm in Hong Kong, I would be A levels or
it's
DSE.
okay lah,
yeah.
it's okay.
But I mean, it's fine. Yeah, everybody knows my age.
Yeah. Wait, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that
Yeah.
later.
So, so and then I was figuring out like, okay, so I had like mental issues. How can I help myself with that?
Yeah.
And then my family were like super traditional Asian parents saying that no, you're not sick, girl. This is just an illusion. You don't need to take the meds. You don't need any like medications or treatments. So I was like counting on myself to heal. So it was really difficult because my parents don't agree. Like they don't see like this is a common thing in Hong Kong. They feel like this is a taboo. You don't tell people. You don't tell your guma. You don't tell your relatives because it's ashamed. And basically throughout the whole like university period, I was like still struggling with dealing with my mental health. I got into Hong Kong Academy for Performing Arts, and then I had to quit. I quit after the first semester. It was a really rough road because I tried so hard to get into that school.
Yeah.
It's super difficult.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't finish. I just started for the first semester and I know, okay, my body's telling me like this is not good for you because they work 10, 11 hours per day and you still have to like find some time for your own homework, assignments and lessons. So it's very, very, very harsh. And then I had to quit university and switch majors, like actually like switch schools.
Yeah.
So I know that the depression, anxiety is really like messing with myself, but I just don't see the point of I need to find a treatment or I need to find a solution because I've been told many years like this is very normal, Gianne, just go ahead and deal with it on your own. And until I met my partner, he was the one that really was suffering, that whenever I had breakdowns, he saw it. And then he noticed like, okay, Gianne, you know, this is something that I see, it's not good for you and you have to deal with it. So we traveled to the States very early when me and my partner met each other. And then through that journey, we got in touch with a lot of different treatments and like medications that helped me with my depression and anxiety. And it is from that I was in the States, I learned what is CBD. I learned that this is like derived from hemp and which can help with people's mood and also with the sleep problem because normally I sleep 4 or 5 a.m. every night. Yeah, and then I know that okay, there's like a natural solution to help my anxiety, help me to basically relax. So from that trip, and then when I was like back in Hong Kong, thinking about what should I do? Now I know like design stuff. I want to design my own brand. So I linked the two together, like the idea of having like CBD products, because during that time there isn't any affordable CBD products in Hong Kong. Like last year, earlier I started like the Camden Co business in 2020 January.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Or I was launching in December to January.
Got it.
So basically now is like a year and a half, and a year and a half ago, Hong Kong, they don't have any CBD products that is available until I think starting from April and May, and then people started having like seeing a lot of different CBD
Yeah.
brands.
It's
And
like
then-
pushing, right? Like
Yeah.
people doing beer, they infusing CBD
Yeah.
in that soda water, those drops
Yeah.
and stuff. Not that I use a lot, but I think I tried, but I don't know. Like I think it would definitely help, but maybe because I hardly touch all these, so I think it takes like some practice to really fong song and then let it come to you.
It's
Yeah.
not only about the product, but you also have to put it into practice.
Yep.
Like after you take the CBD, did you really give yourself some time
Yep.
to calm down, or you're simply like going out again and doing
Yep.
a lot of like
Yep.
different active stuff? Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, thanks very much, Gianne, for sharing that whole personal journey that eventually led on to, touching base and really connecting your previous experience with business development, and then you're helping people to, and then you, yeah, I can tell you really like pink. Like from
Yeah.
your Calm & Co website, I was just looking through before, meeting you. I was like, wow, super pink. I mean, I like pink. It
Yeah.
looks like, but I cannot use pink, right?
Yeah.
But I do wear pink shorts sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very calm and happy color.
Yep.
When I see pink, I like, okay, it links back to the younger Gianne, because when I was very like younger, yeah, of course,
Yep.
my favorite color is pink.
Yeah, I think it's a color that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's all about you branding and pushing it out there. But I think pink is just a really, universal color in some ways. Though it's very feminine, but I think guys would still resonate with it. Guys like me, and if guys like me resonate, I think a lot of people
Yeah.
would resonate with it. But anyways, like really appreciate, sharing that whole thought process, journey, the inspiration behind, this Calm & Co. It's really from your personal experiences, which makes it so special, right? And sometimes when you think about it, now you look back, right? And you think like, hey, your parents, your upbringing, whatever people, the friends around you, they think, hey, this is very normal. But actually it's not normal. But I think that's why we have this podcast. That's why, this podcast hopefully, opens doors to listeners that are actually feeling that way. Because actually no one knows better than yourself, right? We all know that. But sometimes it's just easier to have another voice that is thinking on behalf of you. And I think that's where you had that with Calvin, right?
Yeah.
And that's why from there, like he was giving the external guidance, but actually that. But when there's someone telling that from your perspective from a third party, then it suddenly just clicks and makes more sense. And yeah, I'm glad that eventually you went through that journey and started this Calm & Co to eventually help, because Hong Kong is really such a stressful place.
It is.
And arguably I would say everywhere in the world, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but Hong Kong especially, because the expectation of parents, and we can't blame them, right? Because they grew up not like us, right? They actually went through that, and they went through those the hard way.
Yeah.
Those that didn't manage to, 自己執自己, then they just ended up like not being successful. So they already said, hey, I just kept it and I locked her.
Yeah.
And then they became who they are, and that's how they expect, hey, my kids are just gonna do the same. I'm offering a better platform, right?
Yeah.
More, a better quality school, put more food on the table, that kind. But yeah, so I think they have that perspective, and we don't really blame them. But anyways, I'm like going off a tangent a bit, but I think it's a really, really great story, perspective, and now running for, I think, 1.5, 2 years, arguably, right? Because January 2020, now it's like 2022 mid-year, right? So really, really congrats on that. Yeah. So now I think from myself, and I think for the audience and like aspiring entrepreneurs out there, or slashers that wanted to go into an actual business with like a physical product, like this is where like I actually wanted to understand more about, like when you're comfortable sharing, like you can just give a ballpark, but how do you start something from zero to something? So that was the idea. We covered that. But how do you then put together, like it's a one-man band first, right, from the beginning. But how do you, start doing, do you start on with the website first? Do you start with the product first? Yeah. The logistics, when you had the first customer, let's start with, starting like, okay, when you have the idea, what was the first thing that you worked on?
When I had the idea of like bringing in CBD products to Hong Kong,
Yep.
of course I was like looking into different suppliers. I was seeing like, okay, which company should I source? Where should I go for? Of course, Google answers everything.
Yep.
So basically, I go there and then I start sourcing for my products. And the first step, of course, is to get some samples for you to try, because I did try some samples when I was in the States. But some of the products in the States, they do contain a tiny little bit of THC, which is illegal in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
So we couldn't send those to Hong Kong. We have to had like the manufacturers to get those CBD, pure CBD that does not contain any illegal substance
Okay.
for Hong Kong. So that part is quite difficult. But then of course, like we had like some communications through emails, and then they sent some products for us. And then when me and my partner Kelvin, we decided, okay, this is it. And then we started needing to fund in,
Yeah.
money. And at the very beginning, it was just me and him with the idea of like, I wanted to start a business. So where do we get the money? So I think it's the most easiest way, of course, is to talk about it with your friends and family, see
Yep.
if they're interested, because you can't start everything on your own.
Yep.
And basically at that time, Kelvin already had his full-time job, and
Okay.
I also have my own
That's
full-time.
nice.
So both of us has full-time, and we can fund a little
Yep.
with it,
From
with
your
our
monthly
salary,
salary, right?
right?
Yep.
But then we still need more support.
Yep.
So I just went to my family, and I'm so like lucky to be able to be supported by my brother. Basically, he gave me the initial funding of
Okay.
starting basically to get the products
Okay.
and buy the packaging.
So the initial inventory to test out the market in Hong Kong.
It's basically backed by my brother.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. That's nice. If you're comfortable, can you just share like the ballpark, like how much that is?
I think
Or,
it's around, is it 100K?
Okay.
Around
Okay.
that, to basically get the products to Hong Kong and also to
Package it
yeah,
to send it
buy
to
the
people.
paint calm
Okay,
box.
okay.
Yeah, that one is our like first investment, because I was like,
Yep.
it's all about the customer journey. It's all about giving them the best unboxing experience. So that was the initial idea of like, I must make the box.
Yep.
I must make it.
Instead of getting it in like the normal Sun form
Yeah.
or other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's very interesting. And the pink box right now is the
Yeah,
same
the same
design,
one.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because like me, when I received the pink box, I'm like, wow.
It's so
I-
girly.
No, I didn't think that. I was like, wow, I'm so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so cool, man. I'm part of Gianne's club now. Yeah, Calm and
Yeah.
Co. Yeah, but it's also tied to the branding that you've done, the good work that you've done online.
Yeah.
I click on the website, it's consistent. I go to your Instagram page, it's consistent. And then I was like, wow. When I got the box, like, nice. Everything is like just, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So okay. So that's we covered your initial investment, right? And then yeah. So once you actually got that, you got your box running, because then that's also like the risk, right? Because there's like a minimum order, right? So I think a lot of that, like part of the initial capital to invest was like cleared. But okay, now you have that. Then how do you, launch it out to the market as initial? Like, is it all friends and family first, or yeah? How do you start engaging with your first customers, your first handful of customers, and from there scale it to where you are today? So I think this is a very interesting
It's
point.
a very interesting
Yeah.
question, because I think after I've pivoted the brand, this is actually the first, platform that I've like ever able to share the whole journey of how I pivoted the brand from a CBD brand to now. And in the middle, there are of course a lot of struggles, because last year CBD wasn't actually regulated yet, but there are some part of Asia where you can't put ads on the
Okay.
word.
Okay.
Whenever you have keywords of CBD
It's a ban,
online,
right? Yeah.
then Facebook, Instagram, they ban the ad. Basically, my account was banned.
Okay.
I'm unable to boost any of the
Okay,
posts.
okay.
So I was like very frustrated, because that was what I learned like last year.
Yeah, you
I
need to
wanted
use
to
ads,
try
yeah.
placing ads,
Yeah.
but I couldn't do it because I was doing CBD products. But which also kind of like helped me to save the marketing budget to do other kind of marketing support that I can do. So there are like a few platforms on how I can spread to the world that, oh, Gianne is starting her business. And of course, using my own page, my personal branding page, of course, a lot of people and friends helped me reposted my brand at the very, very beginning because it's very exciting for them. I just suddenly started like a brand and they feel like,
Of
ooh,
course,
wow.
I have a friend that started a business, and you realize that actually friends can either be, I mean, the good friends are actually the ones that will stand by you no matter what. And the ones that are called friends, I mean, we don't expect everyone to like repost everything, right? But you can see like there are some friends that are, you know, worth keeping and worth staying for. And one of the events or experience, like, you know, which ones are good friends is like when you actually like start a business and see who supports. And you don't expect everyone to support, right? But I think it's the ones that actually tell, oh, don't do this, like they're giving you the negative and not constructive kind of advice. Those are the ones that are, you know, put them into the questionable bucket.
I did lost a few friends after I started the brand because I think they see that we're like on the different pace and they are so strange. Like, I think they feel so strange when they see me. Like, oh, why are you doing this? Like, we were working together before. Why are you suddenly doing something that
You mean your colleagues?
Colleagues and friends. They don't see like. They don't see like we're on the same path. Like they see me suddenly doing something weird and different, and they don't compliment, they don't support, they don't even ask me about how is it. They're like expecting me to give them feedbacks on how I'm doing. And then when I realized that some of them don't really agree, or basically they don't applaud for when you're like going through like, oh, you're on a magazine, or oh, you're on this interview. They don't congratulate you. And then you see, okay, so some of them might be jealous, some of them might not resonate with what I'm doing. So
I think that's human being, right? Like and that also makes us grow as a society, right? And there's so many different kinds of people for you to be with, right? And I always mention this, I think this is like the fourth or third time that I mentioned, like, oh, you're actually the average of, you know, the people that you mix with. Like the top 5 people that you mix with, you become like the average of them. So if you mix with a lot of people that are successful, the chances of you becoming successful is really high. Right? So that's how I would think about that. And I don't consciously think that way, but I think like, okay, if I feel happy, I feel like our thoughts resonate, then I'll be like, yeah, I want to hang out more, and I want to meet up, want to learn more from you. And in return, hopefully I also can give some new perspective to them. So that's how I think about, you know, who I meet, new people and stuff like that. I think that's a perfect way to end, you know, this episode with Gianne. Really, really happy, and you know, I'm honored to listen it live and learn from your experiences, your journey. And yeah, I'm just very happy and hope, you know, I'll try out the products. We'll see how it goes. Maybe in her podcast, like I'll just put it on and then see whether I feel calm or what. Yeah, but you know, thanks so much, you know, for the audience, the young listeners out there, the young adults, you know, for listening through, you know, Gianne's journey. And if you do like it, you know, support Gianne. I will link her Instagram profiles, her website, or whatever. Yeah. And if you ever found this episode helpful, like if you're thinking of starting a business, hopefully, I think this is like one, like we went through quite deep, right, on the work. Of course, like you won't know like, hey, step by step, but hey, at least this is as deep as we can go. But yeah, if you found it helpful, just feel free to, you know, share, comment, let us know what we should cover next. And yeah, round of applause to Gianne. Thanks so much.
thank you.
All right, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.